transfer the administration of IDEA to another agency, yes or no, and if yes, to which agency?
We have not yet made a determination of where IDEA services would go.
Do you plan to transfer the services to another agency, yes or no?
Well, eventually, Congresswoman, you do know that...
Just yes or no.
No,
I
it's
have
not
other
a yes or no
questions.
answer. I'm sorry. We will be looking to transfer and at first co-administering these programs with other agencies.
That was your answer. So,
under our proof of
Madam
concept.
Secretary, I want you to know I heard from a foster mom of a 3-year-old girl with disabilities. She's pretty outraged that you've fired employees in the Office of Special Education. And she said, we love our special need kids. They teach us more about life than we could ever teach them. So please fight for families with these kids and assure us that our country cares. So I implore you to show this mom and parents across the country that you do care by keeping IDEA at one agency, the Department of Education. So also, Madam Secretary, I want to follow up on Representative Courtney's questions. You got more than 80,000 public comments.
America First Voice is back with another hard-hitting reaction. Today we're reacting to this House Education Committee hearing where Democrat Representative Susan Bonamici from Oregon clashes with Education Secretary Linda McMahon over student loans, interagency agreements, and the future of the Department of Education. Let me tell you, patriots, Secretary McMahon is handling these attacks with strength, and this exchange perfectly highlights why the American people voted to reform or dismantle the failing federal education bureaucracy. If you believe education should be controlled by parents and states, not Washington bureaucrats pushing indoctrination and waste, smash that like button right now and subscribe. Let's dive in. Representative Bonamici presses Secretary McMahon on so-called bureaucracy expansion agreements, transferring education programs to other agencies like Labor and HHS. She questions the legal authority under the Economy Act of 1933 and criticizes plans to move programs like IDEA, special education. McMahon stands firm, explaining the need to streamline and improve efficiency while focusing on core missions like supporting teachers and students instead of growing the administrative state. Here's my unfiltered take as a right-wing patriot and constitutional conservative.
Oregon, Ms. Bonamici.
Thank you, Secretary McMahon. You started your testimony today by talking about a clear mandate, but the majority of people in this country do not support dismantling the Department of Education, and frankly, many are pretty worried about what's happening. And since you've been Secretary, the department has entered into 10 so-called interagency agreements. I call them bureaucracy expansion agreements that claim to transfer the administration of critical education programs that Congress gave to the Department of Education, to other federal agencies. And I've previously asked you what authority you rely on for these agreements, and you have cited the Economy Act of 1933. So, Secretary McMahon, is it still your position that the Economy Act of 1933 gives you the authority to enter into these agreements? And that's just a yes or no question, please.
Yes.
While the Economy Act allows an agency to perform services for another agency, the Department of Justice and the Comptroller General have established that the Economy Act does not authorize the transfer of statutory functions. They've been vested in a particular agency by Congress, and you've claimed that other agencies are co-administering or co-managing these programs. But the fact is that several, if not all, of these bureaucracy expansion agreements are illegal or unconstitutional. And if your legal counsel is telling you that the Economy Act authorizes you to do these transfers without Congress, you should hire better lawyers. Madam Secretary, it's my understanding that the next bureaucracy expansion agreement will likely transfer the administration of programs in the Office of Special Education and Rehabilitative Services, including services under IDEA. When we last spoke, you were determining which of these programs should be, where these programs should be transferred, to the Department of Labor or to the Department of Health and Human Services. So, Secretary McMahon, does the Department of Education plan to transfer the administration of IDEA to another agency, yes or no, and if yes, to which agency?
We have not yet made a determination of where IDEA services would go.
Do you plan to transfer the services to another agency, yes or no?
Well, eventually, Congresswoman, you do know that...
Just yes or no?
No,
I
it's
have
not
other
a yes or no
questions.
answer. I'm sorry. We will be looking to transfer and at first co-administering these programs with other
Okay,
agencies.
that was your answer. So,
Under our proof of
Madam
concept.
Secretary, I want you to know, I heard from a foster mom of a 3-year-old girl with disabilities. She's pretty outraged that you fired employees in the Office of Special Education, and she said, we love our special need kids. They teach us more about life than we could ever teach them, so please fight for families with these kids and assure us that our country cares. So I implore you to show this mom and parents across the country that you do care by keeping IDEA at one agency, the Department of Education. So also, Madam Secretary, I want to follow up on Representative Courtney's questions. You got more than 80,000 public comments and bipartisan pushback but you still have decided to restrict the definition of what counts as a professional degree. And Representative Courtney covered nurses, but there's also social workers, teachers, physical and occupational therapists, and work in a lot of other areas. They might need to give up on their dreams. You suggested they can just move to a different place and go to a cheaper place, but I'll tell you, a student at Pacific University who's studying to get her licensure in special education said, the affordability crisis that aspiring educators face bars many from entering the profession. So you're the Secretary of the Department of Education, and you're claiming that teaching is not a professional degree. Do you consider educators and teachers unprofessional? Yes or no?
Of course not.
Good. Well, should aspiring teachers be able to access affordable loans?
I think teachers and all of those who are getting degrees should be able to get an affordable loan, and that is why we want to bring down the cost of education. When we
Madam Secretary,
well, let me, if I may, because this is important.
You've answered my question, though.
No, I haven't been allowed to answer the question. We already have seen 2 universities that have reduced their graduate programs because they said responding to these
you already
caps,
said, Madam Secretary, I have another
they had to
question,
reduce
but
their fees because they want to provide these programs.
I'm going to reclaim my time and note that this administration is spending between $1 and $2 billion on a war and $1 billion on tax cuts that could go to helping students. Madam Secretary, do you know what Michael Eisner, the CEO of Disney, and Andrea Zhang, the former CEO of Avon Products, and Indra Nooji, the former CEO of PepsiCo, and Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx, do you know what they all have in common? I guess not.
Well, they're successful business
They're
people.
successful business people. You know what they studied in college? Theater. They were theater majors, but you recently said a degree should set up graduates for success and not trap them in lifelong debt. And 3 of the programs you used as examples of what not to study are theater and film. So through studying theater, these successful business people learned confidence, communication, creativity, collaboration, all skills that are helping them and are beneficial in any career. So I implore you to understand that education is not just job training. And when you are suggesting to people that they should not study certain fields, that is definitely the federal government trying to manage people's decisions about their future. And Mr. Chairman, as I yield back, I would like to submit for the record an article titled 9 Ways a Theater Degree Trumps a Business Degree, and I yield back.
Without objection, it'll be submitted.
Linda McMahon is doing exactly what Americans voted for, challenging the bloated, ineffective Department of Education. For decades, the federal Department of Education has spent trillions with little improvement in student outcomes. Test scores are stagnant or declining, indoctrination with gender ideology and critical race theory has exploded, and administrative bloat has grown while parents feel powerless. Moving programs to more appropriate agencies and focusing on core functions like literacy, math, and vocational training is common sense. As a patriot, I strongly support Secretary McMahon's efforts. The idea that Congress gave the Department of Education certain statutory functions doesn't mean they must be administered inefficiently forever. Streamlining government, reducing duplication, and returning power to states and parents is America first. Representative Bonamici's concern about special education is valid. Our kids with disabilities deserve excellent support, but the best way to achieve that is through competition, school choice, and local control, not more Washington bureaucracy. The left loves big federal departments because they centralize power and push their ideological agenda. Patriots know education works best when parents, teachers, and local communities are in charge. Universal school choice, curriculum transparency, ending federal mandates on social issues, and abolishing or dramatically downsizing the Department of Education are long overdue reforms. Deeper opinion as a right-wing patriot. The Federal Department of Education was only created in 1979, and student outcomes have not improved since. In many cases, they've worsened. We don't need more money poured into a failing system. We need competition through school choice so parents can escape failing government schools. We need to protect parental rights, ban divisive ideologies from classrooms, and focus on teaching kids how to read, write, think critically, and be proud Americans. Secretary McMahon's willingness to use interagency agreements and reform the department shows real courage. The pushback from Democrats reveals their true priority: maintaining control over education to shape the next generation into compliant leftists rather than free-thinking patriots. This hearing is part of a larger battle for the soul of American education. We must win it by empowering parents, supporting great teachers, and rejecting federal overreach. Patriots, Secretary Linda McMahon is fighting to reform a broken system. Support her and the Trump administration as they work to return education to parents and states. Demand school choice, curriculum transparency, and an end to federal indoctrination. Our children's future and America's greatness depend on it. If this hearing fired you up like it did me, comment below. Should the Department of Education be abolished or dramatically reduced? Do you support universal school choice? What's the biggest problem with public education today? Smash like if you stand with Secretary Linda McMahon and America First education reform. Subscribe, hit the bell, and share with every patriot. We need parental rights, school choice, secure borders, and an unapologetic America First agenda. Stay vigilant. Stay involved. God bless Secretary Linda McMahon. God bless President Trump. And God bless the United States of America, the greatest nation on earth.